Hello and welcome to another installment of the Stogie Review video review. And today we have the Jericho by Camacho. It wasn't all that long ago. I remember reading in the Cigars International mailer that Camacho picked up this brand, reblended it, and they were trying to sort of mass market it, sell lots of them at low prices. You know, which is pretty typical of Cigars International, but I initially wanted to try it just because it was a Camacho product, and I've always had pretty good luck with Camacho cigars. So, I took the chance. I ordered a sampler from Cigar Bid. I paid under $30. I think it was 25 cigars. And, it was the first time I tried them. It's not something I really recommend. Just, picking up some cigars that you've never had before on a whim, because there is a big chance that you may not like them. So, let's hope that I didn't waste the money this time. Again, this is the Camacho, or this is the Jericho by Camacho, and this is the Robusto size. It's 5x50, and it's not a very attractive wrapper at all. Typical Camacho style. It's got some soft spots in it, some hard spots in it. I kind of find that pretty typical with Camacho cigars. It's got, some fairly heavy veins. It's really bumpy. But the biggest thing I'm not thrilled about on this cigar, maybe I should say that again. The biggest disappointment of this cigar is that it looks like I've got a patch job on the back. And it looks like there's a little bit of a stem sticking out underneath. That's really not something you should get with the quality control, today. And if you notice, I already cut this cigar. And, I just clipped it with a polio ahead of time. And with that in mind, we're gonna move on. The pre-load draw is good, and it's fairly smooth. There's no, it's not real tight. And I'm gonna go ahead and start the lighting process. Before I do that, I want to show you my new toy. I got this from Famous for about $30, I think. It's a Rocky Patel tabletop torch. It was this and a 5-pack of vintage 1990 Robustos. I thought it was pretty worth it, and you can never pass up a new toy. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this a shot. And if you want something like this, I've heard a lot of people talk about creme brulee torches work great, and they're very inexpensive. You can also get, this is just a glorified soldering torch, a butane soldering torch. So you could really go inexpensive and pick one of these up. It just won't, it just won't have the cigar maker's name on it. And this is going to be the tough part. Trying to do this on camera with this, humongous torch. Looking through my glasses. No, the burn, it's not very attractive. Then again, it could be just a new torch, different technique. But as you can see, I've got some uneven burning right from the start. It's kind of wavy. And I think some of that may have a lot to do with those soft, lumpy spots where, there's not so much tobacco, so it's like an increased burn, almost. Wow, it produces a decent amount of smoke, but it comes at you full force right from the start. It's really full-bodied. There's a lot of spice. It's just wow, for a heavy-bodied cigar smoker, that's just a little too much for me right off the start. And we are later in the evening. It's about, I don't know, around 7 p.m. Eastern. So, I've had dinner already. you know, it really shouldn't be that much of a problem this late in the evening. You know, if I were to experience this, you know, say early afternoon, it'd be no big deal. I would just assume that the cigar is a little heavy for my palate at that point in the day. You know, right now it's, you know, I think the cigar is just too much for my personal taste so far. Wow. Right now the base flavor is just all spice. I really can't get anything else. I'm getting, you know, spice back through my throat, out my sinuses. It's a lot so far. So I'm gonna let that sit a minute, and I'm gonna see if I can pair a beverage up with that to make that a little more enjoyable. Hopefully it won't last all the way through the stick, and you know, it'll settle a little bit. And also, I wanted to mention that you may hear a little extra background noise today. With this video, I actually have an air purifier running. Usually behind the curtain I have a window open with a box fan that exhausts the smoke out. There's another window behind the camera, so it sort of creates a draft effect and pulls the smoke out of the house. But it's like low 30s, high 20s outside right now, and I really don't want to freeze. So got the windows shut, and I've got an air purifier on low. So hopefully there won't be a cloud of smoke in front of the camera, and it really won't be too much to overpower me. So you know, we just got to see how it goes. So anyway, I'm going to smoke a little bit more and be back with you in a few minutes. It's been a couple minutes. Here we are again, about a half inch into the cigar. It's beginning to mellow a little bit, but it's still very full bodied. It's got a very heavy spice. The ash is fairly light. Draws pretty good so far. But my initial impression is that the cigar is it's unbalanced. You know, there's just too much power and spice there, and not enough, you know, just no finesse. And, you know, that's pretty much the way I feel right now. It's, you know, it's just unbalanced. It's got a very sharp finish, and what I mean by that is the spice kind of comes on and off your palate real quick. It's mildly dry, and it's just a touch dry, and but it's fairly smooth, and the like I said before, the body's very full, and you know, that's really about it. It's pretty straightforward so far. You know, there's no real finesse or complexity to it. And to the drink, I did decide to pair with it, and you know, my beer selection is really running low. I haven't picked up anything recently. It's Lancaster Brewing Company Milk Stout, and I talked about that in a previous episode. I think it was actually on the Hoya de Monterey Dark Sumatra, and I chose this beer because it's creamy and it's got a coffee flavor, and I think it'll help equalize all the power in the cigar. I think, you know, maybe it'll help everything kind of blend together. And you know, it's a stout, so it's a very dark beer. Poured it a little bit fast there. I don't want it to spill, but you know, it's you know, I'm taking a chance. I don't know whether it's actually going to blend well with it or not. So, you know, we'll see. I recently got an email asking to discuss what I've been smoking and what I'm looking forward to smoking, and I thought that was a good idea, and I wanted to kind of touch on that now. As of late, I think I've been smoking the most of my rotations to date has been the Padron 3000 Maduro Toro, the Padron 3000 Maduro. And the only reason I'm smoking those over the laundress is because the local B&M that I've been going to just happens to have them, and I think the price is a little better. You know, they're like $3.90 a piece, and the laundress is like 280, 290. So I'm getting much more cigar for the money. That's the only reason why I'm smoking the 3000 over the Laundress, because generally I really do like the Laundress better. I just think I get more bang for my buck with the big 3000, and it gives me a little bit more time to hang out at the cigar shop. Aside from that, there hasn't been a whole lot in the rotation. I had a CAO MX2 not all that long ago. Really unprepared for this segment. I should have held off until later. That's about it, really. And I had maybe one or two Camachos, but that was a little while ago. Of the cigars I really want to smoke, at the top of my list is a Camacho Liberty, but I really haven't been able to find one locally, and they're very pricey. I think the last time I did see them in a local shop, they were right up around $16 a piece. So that's out of my league. I really have a hard time spending that kind of money on a single cigar, even one that's claimed to have pre-embargo Cuban tobacco in it. So it's all. I guess it's all a gimmick kind of thing. You really don't know what you're getting. You just got to go by the manufacturer's word. And really, that's been it. Aside from that, I got a very nice package from Brian recently, who is another writer at StuggyReview.com, and he sent me a couple of Pepin Garcias that I'm really looking forward to trying. I've also got a Bucanero that I'm looking forward to trying. That's a Costa Rican Puro. Wow. Now that I think about it, it's a little bit more. I've got a lot that I want to smoke. It's just I don't have really the time to do it. But that'll about wrap that up, really. I don't want to go on and on about what I want to smoke and then not turn a video out on it for another 5 or 6 weeks just because they're so low on the rotation. I've got other things that are on the schedule that I've got to get done. And next on the list is the CAO CX2 along with the Onyx Mini Bellicoso Reserve, and that's going to be the following week. That's if I stay on track. If I can keep myself from smoking those Pepins, that's what's on the agenda. So don't quote me on that, but we're going to try to go with the CX2 next, and the I keep forgetting the name of that cigar, and the Onyx Mini Bellicoso after that. So anyway, the ash is doing pretty well on this cigar. Just to kind of break away for a second, and not a whole lot of change so far. So I'm gonna smoke a little bit further along, just so I don't make this a 30-minute video, and then get back to you. I don't know, maybe as I'm entering the 2/3 mark. Well, here we are again. It's been another few minutes. I'm just rounding out the first third, beginning to approach the second third. And that intense, full-bodied flavor is really mellowing out now. It's not as intense. It's very enjoyable at this point, which I was really afraid that it was just going to be too much, and that I was going to end up smoking, maybe another inch or two of the cigar and then putting it out, just because at the start it was too much. I just wasn't enjoying it. It wasn't balanced. It was just too much power. It's still a very spicy cigar. The draw is very good. The ash is fairly firm. It's nice and light. The burns evened up. I don't have any more of those kind of jagged, swaying kind of burns in there anymore. It's still producing a good volume of smoke. Like I had mentioned, the body mellowed out a little bit. It's still full bodied, but it's just not intense or overpowering anymore. It's picking up sort of a leathery flavor, and it's got like a thick, almost syrupy mouthfeel to it. It just leaves you with a very thick taste in your mouth. And I thought it was important to mention that before I got into the beer. I've only had a few sips of the beer, so it's not the beer that's giving me that thick, heavy mouthfeel. It's actually the cigar. And to talk a little bit more about that beer, it's not the best mixture. The coffee flavors are going well with the cigar. I don't think it would be a bad idea to have maybe an iced coffee or a coffee with this particular cigar, just because that beer has a lot of the coffee flavors in it, and I think that's mostly to do with the fact that it's got lactose in it, and it's a milk stout with a heavy coffee flavor to it. But and it's also creamy, so it's kind of combating that mildly dry flavor, and in that sense it's blending well. And this is a very dark beer. It actually looks like a glass of Coke, but it's actually not. It's that milk stout I showed you earlier. But so far we're doing pretty good. No real complaints. So I'm fairly happy with it at this point. So I keep saying so. I keep losing my place. But anyway, there's not a whole lot to say about it. I'm fairly happy with it. To get away from the cigar a little bit, I'm going to be doing a I think I'm going to take a stab at doing a little bit of a tips and tricks segment in one of the upcoming videos. I had posted my labeling technique on one of the cigar boards, and a lot of people seem to enjoy it. So I thought I'd extend that a little bit and add it into a segment in the videos. And there's not going to be a video for the odor eliminator comparison I just did, which you can find at StogieReview.com, where I did a comparison between the new Pure Air product and Febreze, and I was really surprised at the results, so you have to jump up to the website and check that out. And that's all I got for you at this junction. So I'm going to smoke a little bit further and be back later. There we are again, and as you can see, it's getting close to that time to wrap things up. I'm just about burning the band. The body's still full. The finish is still sharp. That spice is picking up again. That mildly dry sort of flavor I was getting on the finish, it's becoming mildly creamy, and I'm not sure whether it's the cigar alone or it's the pairing of the cigar and the creamy beer. But in either case, it's much better now and more enjoyable. The only downside is now it's becoming a little harsh, and the burn rate's picking up a bit. It's also getting a little tough to keep it lit. I have to puff on it more than I prefer, just to make sure that everything stays evenly burning. I guess you could say as the cigar is coming to a close, it's becoming a little more high maintenance. And I go ahead and remove the band just because I'm starting to burn into it a little bit. And that it's fairly easy to take off, and it's always a big plus for me. I don't like it when the bands get stuck because I usually damage the wrapper, and I usually smoke them down past the band anyway. I really like to get my money's worth out of it before I put it out. So smoking it beyond the band is a must. I'm getting some flaking now. I don't know if you can see that there. A little piece of the wrapper popped off. It was probably stuck to the band. That leather base is still there, but it's changing to sort of a woody flavor now, and it's got almost like a grassy sort of taste to it. A little piece of tobacco in my mouth there, but it's not that bad. It's definitely not my favorite Camacho product. It's even now that it's mellowed down a little bit, I still think it's it's unbalanced. There's just not enough complexity there to really pique your interest. There's just it's just a lot of strength. But for what I paid for it, you know, I don't think it's too bad. This is definitely a cigar that you have after, you know, after you've been hanging out with the guys and you had, you know, 5 or 6 beers and your palate's starting to, you know, lose its ability to pick up those minute flavors, and you know, the beer's starting to kick in and take over. You know, this is a cigar that'll shine through it a little bit and will get you through the night, you know, and still let you enjoy the cigar. So as far as recommending it, I think you really need to enjoy full-bodied cigars to appreciate this one, and then if you don't, I'd stay away from it. And I'm not real happy with the quality control either. That you know, it's never nice to see a patch job on a cigar and it be very blatant and just really stick out like a sore thumb because the patch job is way darker than the wrapper itself. I really didn't inspect the rest of the bundle, so I really don't know whether it's just this cigar or it's going to be on several. The other 2 or 3 that I've had previous to this, it had a really rough wrapper, but I don't remember seeing any patches or seeing any like veins kind of protruding. So, you know, then again, I could have just got a bad cigar, but that sort of thing, it really doesn't sit well with me, especially from a cigar that comes with a description of, you know, this has, you know, a high quality control standard. So, yeah, that kind of lowers my expectations a little bit. I think that's about it. It's starting to get even more harsh now, and I really have to puff on it quite a bit just to keep it evenly lit. So that may be attributing to the harshness. So I'm just going to let that go out, and that'll be the end of it. Before I get out of here, wanted to say thank you to Bob McDuffie from the Dog Watch Social Club. You know, Dog Watch Cigar Radio. It's you know, really appreciate Bob helping me out with the Pure Air product for the review that's up on the website. And, you know, thanks a lot, Bob. And also, I wanted to thank Mark Neff from Cigarmony. It's because of people like Mark that keep the website free from having, you know, those Google ads and the money-making schemes all over it to pay for hosting costs. So, big thank you goes out to Mark. And if you're interested in a sponsorship, interested in sponsoring the show, you know, contact me or Jerry. We'll talk to you about it, and you know, we'll get you featured on the videos as well in that little splash screen that shows up before the video mentioning the sponsor. So. Amazing. The cigar's still harsh and I keep picking it up. It's just a bad habit I have. I'm actually going to put it in the ashtray now, so I can't pick it back up. Well, anyway, that was the review on the Jericho by Camacho. And really appreciate the emails I've been getting. You know, keep them coming. Really appreciate that. And thanks for watching.